what's up and welcome. I'm the one and only West Coast King, and welcome to a brand new series on my channel, one I've wanted to do for a very long time and I'm very excited for. It's going to be an MLS Career Mode Manager series, and I've got my Sounders kit on today because we are going to be using, of course, my hometown Seattle Sounders for this series. I wanted to wait until the MLS season got started to start this series up on my channel. I know I'm a few weeks late, but better late than never, so let's get into this thing. However, before we start, I've been asked to go over a few of the differences between the MLS and a European team like a BPL team or a Bundesliga team, because there are some significant differences between the MLS and pretty much every other league in the world. So I'm going to go over those real quickly just so that people that aren't familiar with the MLS understand what's going on as we progress through this series, because there are some significant differences that could lead to some very confused people out there if you don't know what's going on. So if you are familiar with how the MLS works, bear with me for a few minutes while I go over these differences, or feel free to skip ahead a few minutes in the video because we do have to get into this. Alright, so the first difference between the MLS and a European league is, if you look at the transfer budget up there in the top right hand corner, you can see that every team starts out with $4.1 million in their transfer budget, and this is because in the MLS, it being in America, we have a salary cap like most major sports. I don't know why we have it. No, I don't like it, but that's the way it is. So there's no real advantage or disadvantage to picking any one team over another because we all start out with the same budget. Our weekly wages are different from every other team, of course, and we have the second highest at the Sounders of any team in the MLS, so I'm going to look to bring that down pretty quickly once we get in. However, the second change is we start our season in career mode in February, which means we don't get the January transfer window to start off with. Our regular season actually starts in March, but our first preseason games are at the end of February, so we actually have like 2 or 3 weeks at the very beginning of this thing where we aren't going to be doing anything. I'm going to be setting up scouting networks and things like that. Actually, this is the third time I've tried to record the beginning of this series, so this episode is the third time I've done this, and it takes about 4 hours of recording each time I set it up to set up the transfers and all that stuff. But moving on, sticking with the theme of the changes or the differences in the MLS, I'm going to have to bring up some graphics to illustrate the difference in this next one, because this one can get kind of confusing. In the MLS, we have conferences in our league. We have 2 conferences. One league split into 2 conferences, the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference. Why? I don't actually know why. It's not really necessary in this sport. However, that's the way it is. The teams on the western side of the country are in the Western Conference, East in the East. That's pretty simple to grasp. However, that leads us to the next change, and that is the playoffs. In the MLS, it being an American version of football, it has to have a playoff at the end. No, I don't like it, but again, that's the way it is. So, the way the playoffs work to determine the MLS Cup champion is that 5 teams will make the playoffs from both the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference. The 4th and 5th place teams will then play each other in a 1-game playoff to move on to the next round. The next round, that would be the quarterfinals. That would be determined over 2 legs, a home and away for both teams. And again, then the winner of that leg, or the winner of that round, will move on to the semifinals. Again, determined over 2 legs. The winner of that moves on to the finals, where there's 1 team left in the West, 1 team left in the East. In the finals, they will play each other for the MLS Cup Championship in a 1-game playoff. So that's how the playoffs work. It's kind of like think of it like the Champions League in Europe, where our regular season is just one humongous group stage, pretty much. And then after the group stage, we move on to knockout rounds, and we move all the way up to a 1-game finale. That's pretty much what it is. It's kind of ridiculous to have it that way, but that's the way it is. Now, those are the major changes that are implemented into this game. There are other differences between the MLS and other leagues. However, they're not in this game, thank God, because it would make doing a career mode with an MLS team almost impossible, because the rules that are in place are just so weird and unnecessary and difficult to work around. So, now that all that is out of the way, let's jump in, sign our contract with the Sounders, and jump in and meet the team. Alright, I'm going to allow you to meet the players on the team. I'm going to allow the squad report to scroll through while I talk for just a moment. There are an advantage and a disadvantage to doing this career mode with the Sounders, and the advantage being this team is built to win right now. The starting 11 on this team is built to win. We should be competitive right off the bat. I'll show you the expectations from the board. They expect us to win, as do I. Now, the disadvantage is, as you can see from the ages of the players scrolling through, you may not know the starters. I'll let you know who they are in a moment, but the starters are actually quite old. So there's not a whole lot of future potential with some of these players, and that's okay. Now there's two sides of the coin to that. The first one is, like I said, there's not a future in some of the players that are currently on the roster, but they are built to win now. However, the flip side of that is it allows me to go get whoever I want and bring in. The reserves are not really going to be with the team, I don't think. Some of them are just there for depth right now. But I can bring in whoever I want to, and that's a huge bonus to starting out with any team. Usually you have some players that you feel you need to kind of nurture and bring along. They're already there. They're with the club. You kind of have to take what they have there and bring it along while still trying to bring in your own talent. That's not the case here. I can bring in whoever I want and just replace anybody, really. So that's awesome. I can kind of build my own team while the other team is winning, and then kind of hopefully that transition, there won't be such of a drop-off where we have to take a season or two and rebuild. It'll be a seamless transition between the current team and my future team. So that is an awesome, awesome thing that we have with the Sounders. Alright, like I said, the board expects us to come out and win immediately. For the Domestic Cup, the US Open Cup, they expect us to win it, which is not a surprise. Recently, the Sounders have had a lot of success winning a lot of US Open Cups, and I would like to continue that little tradition we have here, so I'm going to do my best to do that. For the league, they expect us to reach the playoff final. That is something I don't think the Sounders have ever done, though we've been close or at least last season we were very close, losing out in the semifinals, but I would also like to do that. I think this team is capable of that, and that's an expectation that I would also have for myself with this team. There is one more change that I forgot to mention at the beginning, and that is the MLS this season has gotten two new expansion teams, New York City FC and Orlando City FC, and EA has decided not to implement those teams directly into the career mode, though they are in the game. So what I've done is I've taken Chivas USA, a team that is currently on hiatus from the league, so they're not in the league this season. I've taken them out, and I've put New York City FC in place of them. However, that means that NYCFC is going to be in the Western Conference. A little weird, I know, but that's just the way it's going to play out. Orlando City FC, I've decided to keep out because to bring them in, I would have had to take out a team that's currently in the league, and I would have just taken out the worst team remaining. However, Orlando is worse than every other team, ratings-wise, in the league. So I just decided to leave them out, leave the rest of the league as it is. But NYCFC is in the Western Conference. You can see them there in the 4th place spot for now. It's going to be a little weird having them in the West, but it should make it a little more competitive because they're a pretty good team. Here is the calendar for February. We are starting things off on February 1st. Like I said, no January transfer window to start things off with. No transfer window at all because of where we start our season. We have 2 weeks before we get into our first preseason friendly. And like I've also said, I've done this twice already, playing all 3 of the preseason friendlies the previous 2 times. This is the 3rd time doing it, so this time I know what I already have on my roster. I don't need to play them again. So I'm going to sim those games and get right into the regular season to try to move this thing on a little bit quicker. Okay, we are ready for our first game in the regular season in charge of Seattle. Here is the first choice starting 11. This is going to be the first choice starting 11 for the foreseeable future. We have 5 months until our first transfer window, so these are really the players that we're going to have to work with for now. It's going to be Dempsey and Martins up top, Nagel, Evans, and Papa with Alonso in the midfield, Correa, Lowe, Marshall, and Mears across the back, Fry in goal. Let's get in and play this first game. Oh, that pass got through. I see Nagel going up the wing. Not the greatest ball from Dempsey, but he's in. Come on, Martins. Get in there. Oh, where's the ball? I couldn't figure out where the ball was going to land. Dang it. Oba's going to have to track back and cover this. Whoa! What was that? Let's give it up to Oba. In. Oh, Brad Evans. Evans was fouled. Oh my gosh. Red card. Oh my god. What was that? I didn't even know that was a foul. And it's Beasler. Their best defender. Probably the best defender in the MLS. What was that? That was a borderline foul. I don't think that was a red card. Come on. That was a bit harsh. Either way, it's going to be Dempsey to take it. Come on, Dempsey. Get this up and down. I know you can do this. Come on, Dempsey. Get that in there. Clint Dempsey with the free kick. The free kick specialist. This team's up 1-0. They're so good. And anywhere on the offensive side, you're in trouble if we've got the ball. Free kicks, corners, anything. This team can get it done. Should be halftime pretty soon. Let's see if I can... Why was Oba so far up the pitch? Oh, Obafemi. 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 No. Oba. No, he did not just do that. Obafemi Martins just did them so dirty. That was a nasty play. Strength to take the ball. Skills to get around the defender. Puts it home, up 2-0 before the half. That is the Sounders at their finest. So much fun to watch. So much potential going forward. This move, oh, that was some nasty stuff. Oba did him dirty, man. That was nasty. Oh, get back. Oh, the ball falls to Oba. Oba, go. They're in trouble in the back. I see Dempsey. Dempsey's in. Dempsey, take a touch. Finish that. 3-0. Clint Dempsey's got his second. Obafemi with the assist. That is the Sounders in transition. Absolutely lethal stuff. Lethal stuff. Just a flick through ball to Dempsey. Takes his touch onto his right foot. Bang it off the post like it's nobody's business. Nothing to it. Simple as you like. Deuce has a brace. And we're up 3-0 on Sporting KC. Over to Zusi. Zusi will bang him from the outside. I've seen it. It's very scary. Oh no. There's nobody there. Zusi! That's what I was talking about. Zusi will bang them from the outside. Uh-oh. There it is. Mistake from Sporting KC. Parseman on his debut for the club. Puts it home. We're up 4-0 on KC on a terrible mistake from them. They passed it to nobody. That was a horrible pass. We're pressuring them all game long. To be fair, they're down a man. The pressure was getting to them, and they finally made a mistake. Parseman with a great finish, though. Just Andy Rose doesn't care who you are. Parseman, make a run. Oh, Nagel. Nagel into Parseman. Parseman, fake shot. No, Parseman. Are you serious? It's 5. We've got 5 on Sporting KC. Parseman with brilliant work in the box to bring that back to his right side. Puts it home. We're blowing out Sporting KC in the opener. Ozzy cuts it in to Parseman for his hat trick. Kevin Parseman almost netted a hat trick in less than 20 minutes on the field. Parseman's a monster. There's the final whistle. We get the win in our home opener. 5-0 over Sporting KC. KC's a good side. They're in the playoffs every year. They're a contender. And we blew them out. Now, to be fair, they didn't have Beasler for most of the game. Their best defender, and like I said, one of the best defenders in the MLS. But still, that was a statement game from the Rave Green in the opener. Alright, we're going to stop our first episode right there. Pretty good place to leave it off. Look at that goal differential already. +5 on top of the league, putting the rest of the league on notice that we are here for championships. We want trophies right away. In the future, we will play more than one game an episode, but because I had to set everything up, and I told you it takes a long time to record the first episode, I'm just going to leave it at 1. In the future, we'll get 2 or 3 in per episode. But that is going to do it for this one, guys. If you had as much fun as I did, make sure to let me know by leaving a like below. Subscribe if you're new and you're excited about this series, and I will catch you in the next episode. See ya.